As I've talked about in other videos, the number of power sales in Ontario has just exploded. Like I'm not exaggerating. It's probably up 900% in the last year. So it's probably time to explain how this actually works, how this foreclosure power sale stuff works. And it's important to understand 95% of all the legal actions in Ontario are power of sale. They're not foreclosure. Foreclosure is something different. So how does power of sale actually work? First of all, people got to fall behind on their payments on their mortgage. It's that simple. There's a payment missed. There's only a partial payment made, which, by the way, is almost as bad as missing the whole payment. It is technically as bad. So payments are missed. The bank calls. They just kind of call. They call, they email, they reach out. Okay, the branch reaches out. Hey, you missed a payment. We got to catch it up. When are you going to be done? Okay, yeah, I can catch it up by this time. Or it's a serious problem and you can't catch it up. But maybe you make a partial payment. So the bank takes that, and then the next payment rolls around, and you're still making partial payments. The bank says, no, you got to catch up. You got to catch up. What can we do? How are we going to do it? Bottom line is the bank will work with you for at least 90 days. They'll work with you for 90 days. Mind you, they might not work with you. Just ignore them. Like if you pick up the phone and say, hey, you missed your mortgage payment. You tell the bank, yeah, I'm hanging up now. Boom. You probably are going to get in trouble faster. But if you cannot catch up the full amount of all outstanding payments by the end of 90 days, the bank will be required by their own rules. They have to start some sort of legal action. Okay. So they turn it over to their lawyers. So if you call the bank themselves, they can no longer help you. They just say, hey, go talk to the lawyers. We're out of this now. Lawyers send you a letter. Letter says this is what you got to pay. And there's extras now. There's the lawyers themselves are going to charge a fee. You're going to have to pay them now. And so the money starts to build up what you owe. That's a demand letter, then no response, or there's no satisfactory action. And now there is going to go to court. They're going to file a statement of claim. They send you a letter with the court seal on it that shows they filed a statement of claim. Things are getting serious. So then the lawyers are going to push it through. I'm talking about banks now. Lawyers are going to push it along, and it will end up in a action that could easily, well, probably, not always, but may end up with you being evicted from the house. Private lending, because that's half, like about 55, 56% are bank mortgages in power sale, big six bank mortgages. The rest are private lenders, alternative lenders, different kinds of lenders, and they take different approaches, okay? But in the end, it just means some of them are faster. Like some of them will turn you over to a lawyer after 7 days. You haven't paid up. You haven't gotten everything. You missed one payment, didn't catch it up perfectly by the end of 7 days. Boom, they turn you over to their lawyer. And that process of a demand letter, a statement of claim, that whole process gets going, okay? Now, with what happens? People have got this statement of claim filed against them. It's got a court seal on it. It's serious. So what they can do is one of two things. They can do nothing, which then the lawyer's just going to push the whole thing through court. They can file a statement of defense, but they have to make up some nonsense on the statement of defense because this is a very simple contract. If you pay, you're golden. If you don't pay, you're in trouble. It's really, really simple. And people say, well, I think I was fooled at the beginning. Well, you had a year to figure it. Anyway, bottom line is some people do file defenses and eventually it just doesn't work because at the end of the day, every court in Canada, this is old law, it's 150-year-old law. Every court in Canada is going to agree, hey, if you don't pay, you got to pay. That's not it. If you don't pay, we got to take action ourselves as a court. So now it starts moving along. It gets, let's say there's no statement of defense filed. If there's no statement of defense filed, the lawyers push that statement of claim along. The judge might say, well, I need a correction here. I need to change there. They might have to resubmit, but they'll push it along to the point where there actually is a court date. And if the other side, who is the borrower, doesn't show up, boom, default judgment. There is now a judgment against the borrower and all the normal power sale actions can complete. So what happens next? Well, you get this judgment sent that's pasted up on your door typically. Yeah, they'll have it delivered by a process server. Here's the judgment. You have 30 days to get out of the house. Get going. Yeah, like it's serious as hell now. Like it's get out of the house. Now, right up almost to the day that the sheriff evicts you, or even to the day the house is eventually sold, you could theoretically redeem the mortgage. You could come up with all the money, all the legal fees, all the other penalties, all the NSFs, catch up the property tax, do a million different things, and you could theoretically still get out of it in the end. But it just starts to add up so fast, people can't. If you can't pay your first payment, how are you going to pay all the rest of these expenses? Now, there's a default judgment. Okay, next move. You haven't left. The people haven't left. They're getting a demand notice to leave. Get out of the house. So they don't leave. So then what happens next? Get the sheriff. The sheriff will come and actually walk the people out of the house in the worst case scenario. Now, does that happen all the time? No. Vast majority of time, people either abandon the house, they pack their stuff up and they leave, or they are urgently trying to sell the house, which may not work because they may have a wrong idea of the value of the house in their heads. Sometimes realtors don't want to get involved in those things if they know there's a power sale action. It just might be wasting their time. But let's just say the people pack up and leave. They leave the house. It's gone. So at that point, they find out, because believe it or not, they're watching the house. I mean, they think for all private lenders actually check on the house every few days to see if people are still there. So they find out you're gone. You've deemed to have abandoned the house. Okay, they jump in, clean up the house, then they will list it themselves. Now, there's some rules, a lot of rules actually, about how you sell that house under power of sale. They must be obeyed. If you don't obey them, it's an improvident sale. And even a year later, or a couple of years later, the homeowner who lost their home can go after the lender and say, you did everything wrong. I'm going to prove to you how you cheated us. Lenders don't want that. They don't, believe me. So you have to do two appraisals, and you can then list the house. It must be listed on MLS. If you try to sell it off to your cousin for cheap, you're going to get caught. That's an improvident sale. So it must be the average of two appraisals. It must start at the average of the two appraisals. It must be MLS listed. You must make best efforts. You got to hire some cleaners. You got to fix up the house. If it's winter, you got to shovel the snow. You got to hire people to do that. If it's summer, you got to look after the yard. And all this time, you're paying the utilities and you're paying the property tax if you're the lender or the bank. So at that point, average of two appraisals, that's the starting point. Boom, we list it. Okay, how's it going? No showings. Drop it $25,000 that week. Next week, 2 weeks. Let's wait 2 weeks. No showings. Another $25,000 down. It just keeps dropping and dropping until it sells, because the bank must get the money back. That's what power of sale is all about. Get the money back. That's what the private lender is all about. Give me the money back. But what, don't they want to wait till spring? No, they won't wait till spring. They won't wait for shit, okay? Because they're paying property tax. They're paying utilities. They got to keep the place warm. They got to keep the snow shoveled. They got to keep the grass cut. They got to do all these expenses. They got to keep checking on the house. They got a security service checking on the house once a week. So it's expensive. You got to sell. They'll keep dropping the price until it is sold. And that's it. That's what we're experiencing right now in all of Ontario. Drop the price until it's sold. That's why you see low prices from these power of sales outcomes. And that's just the way it works. Oh, well, they should have waited. They can't wait. They won't wait. They don't have to wait, okay? They will sell the house. They must sell the house, and they will keep dropping the price until it's gone. That's how power of sale works.